Hello, everybody. Welcome to today. Today is time for change. This is day 2 for the free webinar, the last free webinar of the year. I am so grateful to be here. Thank you for all those messages and comments and engagement from yesterday. Yesterday was amazing. I touched on so many different topics, and it's great to just be able to share and help you out, with this type of material. And right now, Spirit is talking to me. And, I never really shared why I became, a Proctor Gallagher consultant, certified Bob Proctor coach, is because I was blown away with this material. Most of my life, well, a lot of you don't know, but I've always been a very happy kid, very happy, curious about life. I was the kid that would put bugs in his hand and analyze the bug, and just look at it and be at awe of nature. And that's what everything that I saw with these eyes to this day. And I didn't realize how connected to spirit I was, growing up as a kid. I always had a feeling there was something more going on. Always had a feeling, there's something that I'm not seeing or don't understand. And I'm grateful that I've taken that curious path where I wanted to learn more about myself. And I know that this was on purpose because look where it brought me. It brought me here with this type of material. And I get so excited talking about it. I love sharing it, but not only the material, I love to see people go beyond what they thought they could do with this material. So, and I always been a person of giving. I always love to give, but to help. And it actually, I see it in my daughter. Yesterday we were setting up holiday, Christmas lights outside. And, she was feeling a little under the weather, but she was so determined to get outside with me in the dark, in the cold, to help me. She wanted to help me. And at one point I was doing one of the trees. I came back in the house to get something, I think more lights. And then all of a sudden she's off the couch. She had her coat on, she was ready. She was ready to help, like ready to go outside, and I didn't even tell her to get her coat, and then the next thing I told her, get a mask so you can cover your face so you can kind of stay warm, because she wasn't feeling well. And before you know it, she was at the door with her mask on, with her shoes on. So, I'll touch on this later, what you don't change or improve in yourself, you pass on to your children, and I strongly believe that. And Bob shared that a lot. He shared that a lot. And, I'll get into that as well, a little later. So, day 2, like I said, come with an open mind, an open spirit, leave the past behind, because your 2025 starts now. It starts right now. And, my journey to this point, I'm so grateful for, because it allowed me to see life in a different way. It allowed me to see things that I was totally oblivious to. And it's allowing me to create better habits for myself. But also, I'll talk a little bit about this guy right here to help me kind of understand my own thoughts and how my thoughts create things and thoughts become things, and how my thoughts are connected to the outside world. I never knew who we really are, right? So this is so, so important. And, it's lifelong lessons, that I'm excited to share with you today. So we're going to get into some topics here. Let me share my screen. And of course, these videos will be up, probably up until the weekend. I'll be taking them down. Thank you for those that already booked some calls with me. So if anything speaks to you on this live stream and also Instagram, make sure you reach out, schedule a time. to see if this is a good fit for you, right? And see if I can help you in any way with this type of material, because this is your life and this is your future. And how long are you going to stay idle? How long are you going to keep watching and wishing and hoping for things to be the perfect time, or wishing and hoping for things to be all aligned for you to be comfortably going into mentorship? Things usually don't happen when we want them to. You make the choice to move forward or make the choice to remain where you are, at the lower frequency. It's always a choice, or basically with what you don't want, right? How long are you going to be sick and tired of being sick and tired? When is that day going to come and say, hey, I'm here to make change. I'm no longer doing this anymore. I'm tired of it. I have a better vision of myself, a better vision of my family. When are you going to make that decision? So let's get into today's content. Let me make sure we're good, because last time I'm not even going to speak it. Camera's good. Audio, we're good. Awesome. Let me turn this a little bit. Audio for, yes, we're good. All right. So let me share my screen here. Window. Awesome. So here it is. Time for change. Again, my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified Bob Proctor coach. And, I help people with Bob Proctor's material and Sandy Gallagher's as well, from the Proctor Gallagher Institute. So this information, we're learning more about ourselves, right? We're not just idly wondering and wishing for things to change. You're learning more about who you are as a person and how you're connected to spirit, and how you create things, how you can manifest things, how you can attract things, how you can basically define your own future, design your own future, right? So let's get into it. All right, let's hide that. Awesome. So it's time for change. Now, not tomorrow, not the next day, not January 1st, 2025, right now. You want to create the life that you really want. You want to create the life that you want. All right. So like I said, start 2025 now. 2024 is basically over, right? And if you do this, you'll be ahead of everyone else. You're moving into the higher version of yourself, of who you're meant to be, right? You're not being the old person with mediocre goals, or goals that you kind of start and stop. You even have a limited mindset. No, we're having a winning mindset every day, knowing that spirit is guiding you. That spirit is giving you exactly what you need. That spirit is speaking to you and through you. And you're taking the necessary actions every day, moving towards that goal. So get ahead of the curve. Don't be like the masses. Oh, New Year's resolution. My New Year's resolution is do this, and you never do it. Why? It's because of your mental conditioning. You're conditioned to give up. That's a condition in itself, to set a goal and then not do it. Right? But this is not to beat you up. It's not to say that you're a failure. You're only a failure when you give up. So that's why mentorship is so important, to keep you going, to motivate you, to inspire you, right? So here's to keep going. You got to know where you're going, right? And this is kind of like a recap of yesterday. Different types of goals, right? So you have A-type goals. These are goals you already know how to do, okay? And then there's B-type goals. These are goals you think you can do. Now, some people get to this level, right? This is based on your limited understanding. It's based on your conscious mind, the reasoning factor, right? If I do this and I do that and do this, I think I can become this, or I think I can achieve that, right? Thinking, right? That's based on your limited understanding of obviously the mental conditioning of your past self. So C-type goal, this is do what you really want to do. What do you really, really want? What do you want for 2025? What do you want now, right? That's even more powerful. What didn't happen this year that you wanted to happen? Like, really look at your life and be vulnerable, right? Be very vulnerable, because you're getting honest with yourself. And if you're not honest with yourself, who else will be, right? So you don't have to know how. A lot of people ask, how? How can I do that? How? Who cares? Leave the how to infinite intelligence. Leave the how to spirit. Leave the how, let it go. But you must know that you will do what you really want. Are you willing? You're able. I know you're able. But are you willing to do what you need to do to achieve that goal? That's a big question to ask yourself. But you need clarity, right? You need to know where you're going. And this is stretching your mind, right? I shared yesterday, the imagination. A lot of us use our imagination when we're children, right? I know my imagination is so large, and I'm tapping back into that now. So, I used to make entire TV shows, entire movies, stories, songs, all types of stuff in my mind when I was a kid. I could spend all day using my imagination, playing with my toys. I would do sequences. It was amazing. And then I remember my sister and I, we used to do these tents. So we put sheets over the couch and pillows, and make like our own forts out of pillows and pretend that we're in army or military or whatever, because my dad was in the military. So I had this big imagination. You know what happens? Most adults, when you go to school, you go to college, then you get a job, you're so connected and stuck on the physical plane with your jobs and school and all these things that are thrown at you, and you forget about your sacred gift, your imagination. This is why a lot of people don't stretch their mind. They don't stretch their mind to what they really want. What do you really want? You got to think about that. So let's get a little bit of understanding here. I'm going to stop sharing, and notice here on the screen, right? Notice this guy. And I'm going to share just a little bit what that guy is. Okay. So let's, there we go. Stop screen. Awesome. So this guy right here is the stick man, right? This is to help you get an understanding of what I'm about to share about facing your fear. Now, I don't know why it does that. That is weird. So, but this is basically an image of your mind. We as human beings, we think in pictures, right? So seeing this will help you kind of understand what your mind does, right? So for Instagram, this is a better angle here, right? So here are what's called sensory factors up here at the top that looks like little antennas. You can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste and touch. These are 5 senses, right? And we basically interact with the world and our environment with those 5 senses, right? And notice these senses are connected to the top part, which is your conscious mind. This is your conscious mind up here, right? That's basically your thinking mind. That's where all your thoughts go. The books that you see back here in the background, the movies that you see, the stories, all the education, a lot of that is all up here in your conscious mind. What's special about your conscious mind up here at the top is that you can put thoughts there, right? You can put your dreams there. You can put your goals there. You can put whatever thought you want there, right? And you can reject whatever thought that you're aware of, okay? So down here is your subconscious mind, also known as your emotional mind, right? That's your feeling mind, right? That's how do you feel today? You have a great attitude? Are you thinking about yesterday? Are you thinking about after this live stream? Are you thinking about yesterday's live stream? And if you missed day 1, make sure you watch that replay, right? It's available on my platforms. So this is the emotional mind, subconscious mind, right? And down here is the body, right? That's the body. So this is to help you kind of visualize how everything is connected, from spirit to physical. But the body, remember, is just an instrument of the mind, right? The body reacts based on actually what's here in the subconscious, right? So the body is just a tool to interact with the physical plane, basically, right? So a lot of people confuse the mind for the brain. Remember, the brain is part of the body, right? The mind is actually a lot larger than we think, right? It's not the brain. So the mind is movement, right? The mind is movement, activity. So I'll share one quick thing. Up here in the conscious mind, you can accept or reject any thoughts. Remember that. You can accept or reject any thoughts, right? If I say, hey, Jamel, I don't like your blazer today, right? I don't like your blazer. I just don't like it. I can reject that thought, right? If somebody said that to me, right? Or I love your blazer. I can reject that thought as well. I don't know why, but you know what I'm saying? I can accept that thought because it's a compliment. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Right? So if anybody says anything negative to you, you hear something negative, you see something negative, you smell something negative. But the point is, you can reject all of that, right? You can reject any thoughts in your conscious mind. Now, down here, your subconscious, your emotional mind, it can only accept. Deductive, inductive, deductive, and deductive. So it can only accept in the subconscious mind. Only accept. It's like planting a seed in a garden, you know? So what type of seeds are you planting? Right? Are you planting some nasty, I don't know what's nasty. I don't know, moldy squash? Or are you planting, something of great value there? All right. So it can only accept what you give it. And what are you giving it? Like, what are you giving it today? Are you giving some of your time to understanding yourself? Because your future, your results, all of it's related to this material. And this is why mentorship is so important. So let me share again. I wanted to give a breakdown of what this image was on the, on that slide there, when we're talking about fear. So let's get a better understanding of what fear is and how to use it to your advantage. This is called the terror barrier. All right. So the terror barrier, essentially, this is to get an understanding, right? You want to get a better understanding of the terror barrier. This is to understand fear, right? And to understand fear, you're understanding who you are. And why should we understand fear? Fear is so necessary. We think of it as a negative thing, but it's actually a guide. It is a true guide, and this is to help understand, like, why do I face these fears, right? Why am I facing these fears? So to get an understanding, notice at the first stage of fear. And remember, fear, every person that accomplished anything of great magnitude faced fear. So this is why it's important to understand fear, right? So important to understand fear. So to get an understanding, the first stage of fear is bondage. A lot of people stay in this level. They have X-type conditioning, meaning they are thinking X-type thoughts in their conscious mind, and they're feeling X-type thoughts in their subconscious, and their body's at the same vibration of their subconscious. So you're thinking the same way, you're feeling the same way, and your vibrational state is the same, and you're getting the same results year after year. This is basically the prison, right? Bondage, because you're in bondage of your own making. And most people don't know that they are. These are people, it could be every level of so-called success, right? You could not have a certain amount of money and you still think that that's a large amount of money, whatever. The point is that you're in bondage thinking the same way and getting the same results. Now, reason is the next step. Some people get to reason. Reason is basically when you have that idea. Maybe you have that business idea. Maybe you want to start your own app, your own website, your own company, Maybe you want to buy your first boat or a lake house or a house on the beach, or maybe travel somewhere you've never been. Maybe you want to start whatever type of business, right? That's the why idea. That's the new thing that you're thinking other than your old bondage conditioning. So what happens, that why idea stays up here in your conscious mind. You think about it every now and then, right? But you're still feeling the same conditioning as you have been all year and the year prior and the year prior and the year prior, unfortunately. So obviously the body is at the same vibrational state as how you feel, and you're getting the same results. But you think about that idea occasionally, that new idea. Now, the terror barrier is when you are facing that fear. The terror barrier is when you face the fear of growth, basically. So you're thinking of that new idea and that why idea in your conscious mind, right? Now you're getting emotionally involved with it. You're really, really feeling that goal coming to you. You're feeling about pursuing that goal, going towards that goal. Now that why idea is different than X ideas because that's your old thinking. Now you have new thinking and you're getting it more involved. You're getting emotionally involved. You're falling in love with that goal. You're falling in love with it because you know in your heart of hearts, that's what you desire. That's what you want more than anything. So that why idea is now being impressed in your subconscious mind, right? Now, guess what's down there? Your old conditioning. Oh, I see this every day when I speak to people. You know, you have a new idea. I want to go here, but your old self is trying to hold you back because it's comfortable. The paradigm is winning whenever you don't move forward, right? Your old self is winning. You know, people don't resist change. They resist being changed. So I can't change you. You have to choose to change yourself. So you have Y and X type conditioning in your subconscious mind. And what happens? You have X and Y conditioning in your vibrational state in your body, which causes chaos. You know, you're excited because I'm finally doing what I want to do, but you're afraid because you want to go back to your comfort zone. Right? So it's all types of nonsense going on. Some people get sick, some people get headaches, some people start sweating. You know, you have to get out of your conscious mind and trust your heart, knowing this is what you really want. Now, once you break through, that's the path to freedom. You break through that terror barrier, that wall. That is the freedom you seek. Remember, the freedom you seek is on the opposite side of fear, the discomfort. You have to be uncomfortable in order to grow and do it consistently. And that's what the terror barrier is. You know, you have to really think about every person that has ever done anything of great magnitude has faced fear, right? Think of all the amazing inventions that you see in the world. You know, they had to basically face fear. Like, I mean, I'm looking at all the fancy lights in here, right? The LED, right? Those weren't popular years ago, right? Even flat screens. Imagine someone said, I'm going to make a TV that's going to fit on a wall like a picture. Imagine the fear that person had with that patent and that idea when TVs were huge and heavy, right? Like all these softwares, you know, PowerPoint, webinars, all these social media. Like imagine having this idea and you present it. That's a lot of fear. How in the world can I do that? You have to break through that fear. So this is something I wanted to share yesterday that I forgot to share. You know, this is about the power of your mind. And now that we talk a little bit about fear and X and Y conditioning, this is Thomas Troward, My Mind. And I wanted to share this with you. My mind is a center of divine operation. The divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. So your mind basically creates its reality. This is why you got to be free with your thoughts and use your imagination and your will and your reasoning factor. right? So this is so important, right? So and this means the production of something beyond what has gone before. Who cares what you did in the past? Where are you going forward? What are you doing now? Right now, right? Are you setting up a call to talk to me about this material right now? Right? Is this what are you doing right now, or are you going back to your comfort zone? Right? So this means the production of something beyond what has gone before. Now, something entirely new, not included in the past experience, right? So, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth, therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, it must operate in the same manner with me, consequently, in my own special world of which I am the center. It will move forward to produce new conditions, always in advance of any that have gone before. Thomas Trollope. So, what does that mean? You're the center of it all. Your mind is, your thoughts are, your vibrational state. Like, where do you see yourself? Yesterday, we talked about where you are. And now you got to see where you're going. Who cares about the past? Let it go, especially if it's negative. Let it go. You have to let it go in order to grow. You have to let it go. Right? So I wanted to share that with you to show you your mind is the center of divine operation. That sentence alone tells you, right? Divine operation. You are the center. And this is to help you understand your unlimited abundance. We are more than meets the eye. We're a lot more. Divine operation, your mind. This is the power of thoughts. This is the power of you, right? So let's continue. And hopefully that helps, kind of break it down a little bit about the terror barrier. Okay. So are you stuck? Ask yourself, are you stuck? Right? Are you stuck and don't even know it? Are you stuck? What that is, you can't escape a prison if you don't know that you're in one, and that's what that really is. And that prison can mean a lot of things for you, right? You could be wanting something more and you don't know why you're not getting it or moving towards it or taking the necessary actions or having clarity. There could be numerous things of why you're stuck. Usually it's the paradigm, but sometimes, if you even had some success in your life, maybe you're making, multiple six figures or your first six figures, and you desire more, that still could be a prison because you're comfortable. Maybe you got a house, you got a car, your kids are fed, you got food in the fridge, you're paying your bills on time, but at the same time, you're stuck, but you desire more. That's a deep prison, because you don't know that you're in it. You're not even aware, but you desire more, but you never take any action or open to something, of this magnitude to help you kind of see things differently. So your comfort zone is a dangerous place because it almost feels good. That's a dangerous place to be. Bob always talked about we either create or disintegrate. Bob Proctor, right? Everything is either creating, moving at a higher plane, or disintegrating, sitting still and just disintegrating, right? So there's a big difference between experiencing and merely knowing about this material, right? So I talked to some people, oh, I know about the law of attraction. Oh, I studied the universal laws. Oh, I read this book and I read that book. What is that? That's your conscious mind, right? You got all this information, but look at your results, right? It's a difference between experiencing it and merely knowing about this material, right? You may know about it, you may study it, you may memorize it, but experiencing it, applying it to your life is a big difference. And Bob shared this, like I shared earlier. It was a story, actually, a sentence that was shared with DP Gates, and I love how he shares that. And shout out to DP, and I strongly believe this: what you don't fix in yourself, your children will inherit. So you have a lot of mental conditioning that shapes your results, but it will ultimately shape your children's results as well. Will have a big impact on how they see things in life and their growth and their success and the money they make, their whole livelihoods. So if you continuously, not even care or wonder or invest in yourself, whether it's time or money, about developing yourself in your mind, you're going to pass on a lot of these negative traits to your children, even unconsciously. That's even worse, So you could know this, but you don't understand it. Otherwise, your results would be different. Bob Proctor, there's a quote there, right? You can know all this material, right? Front and back. But your results always tell the level of awareness. Your results, the fruits of your labor, will always tell you. Always. Like, what are your results right now? Like, look at your life, look at your bank account. I know it's the holidays, but look at where you're living, look at your job situation, look at your, did you travel? Did you do the things you wanted to do? Are you just getting by? Or are you really living life to the fullest? Are you enjoying life, right? So you can know this, but you don't understand it, right? So Bob shares there. It reminds me of the glass half full, right? Or is it half empty? Right? So think about that. Now, the goal, I love this, is the distraction of all other things. That's the distraction of all other things. You have to flip it, change your perception. A lot of times, most people are distracted by everything outside of themselves. Let this be a conscious interruption. You're not scrolling, looking at cats or babies or silly dances. This is your future. Right? Let your goal be the distraction for all other things. And what is your goal? Where are you going? What are you aiming for? Right? So that is so important to get clarity. Right? The goal is the distraction, not Netflix, streaming, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, all this stuff, video games, doing extracurricular things that don't add value to the direction that you're headed, spending time doing things that do not add to your life at all. It takes away, right? You got to have a healthy balance. This doesn't mean, oh, I just got to work. You got to have a goal, but have a healthy balance, but progressively moving towards it with clarity and faith. So here's the first principle of the science of getting rich. I wanted to share this. And maybe I'll share a little bit of something else as well. So let me, speaking of sharing, let me get to this here. Okay. So let me share a little bit here about Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. So here's the first principle of the science of getting rich. Okay. So thought is the only power which can produce tangible riches from the formless substance. Now, remember, formless substance is spirit. It's energy, right? Remember, everything's created twice. First in your imagination and then on the physical plane, right? So the stuff from which all things are made is a substance which thinks, and a thought of form in this substance produces the form. Original substance moves according to its thoughts. So this is why I talked about the stick man, the power of your thoughts, and it always starts with your thoughts. So every form and process you see in nature is the visible expression of a thought in original substance. That sentence right there, everything you see with these eyes was formed from the thoughtless. From the invisible, right? Every form and process you see in nature is the visible expression of original substance, right? So as the formless stuff thinks of a form, it takes that form. As it thinks of a motion, it takes that motion. That is the way all things were created. We live in a thought world, which is part of a thought universe, right? So the thought of a moving universe extended throughout formless substance, and the thinking stuff moving according to that thought took the form of systems of planets and maintains that form. Thinking substance takes the form of its thought and moves according to the thought. Holding the idea of a circling system of suns and worlds, it takes the form of these bodies and moves them as it thinks. Thinking the form of a slow-growing oak tree, it moves accordingly and produces the tree. Through centuries may be required to do the work. In creating, the formless seems to move according to the lines of motion it has established. The thought of an oak tree does not cause the instant formation of a full-grown tree, but it does start in motion the forces which will produce the tree along established lines of growth. So that is basically the perpetual transmutation of energy, or the law of gestation. So basically, the time it takes for that seed to turn into an oak tree is based on energies, right? From the formless substance. Every thought of form held in thinking substance causes the creation of the form, but always, or at least generally, along lines of growth and action already established. The thought of a house of a certain construction, if it were impressed upon formless substance, might not cause the instant formation of the house, but it would cause the turning of creative energies already working in trade and commerce into such channels as to result in the speedy building of the house. And if there were no existing channels through which the creative energy could work, then the house would be formed directly from primal substance without waiting for the slow process of the organic or inorganic world. No, I'll stop here. No thought of form can be impressed upon original substance without causing the creation of the form. I love that. So you get the idea there, about the formless, right? And to put it in a different way, here's Thomas Schwartz, right? Let me see if I can share this here. Let's see if I can find it for you. There we go. That's it. So here's entering into the spirit of it, right? The Hidden Power by Thomas Schwartz. This is another way of talking about spirit connected with physical plane. This is extremely powerful. And it was one of my challenges for a while. Let me see if I can find the right tab. There we go. So entering into the spirit of it, what a, common expression, and yet how much it really means. How absolutely everything. We enter into the spirit of an undertaking, into the spirit of a movement, into the spirit of an author, even into the spirit of a game. And it makes all the difference, both to us and to that into which we enter. A game without any spirit is a poor affair. An association in which there is no spirit falls to pieces. And a spiritless undertaking is sure to be a failure. On the other hand, the book, which is meaningless to the unsympathizing reader, is full of life and suggestion to the one who enters into the spirit of the writer. The man who enters into the spirit of the music finds a spring of refreshment in some fine recital which is entirely missed by the cold critic who comes only to judge according to the standard of a rigid rule, and so on in every case that we can think of. Now, if we do not enter the spirit of a thing, it has no invigorating effect upon us, and we regard it as dull, insipid, and worthless. This is our everyday experience, and these are the words in which we express it. And the words are well chosen. They show our intuitive recognition of the spirit as a fundamental reality in everything, however small, however great. Let us be right as the spirit of a thing, and everything else will successfully follow. So let me fast forward here, right? And just kind of break it down. What we have to do is to maintain our even balance between the two extremes. Let's go here. To enter into the spirit of anything, then, is to make yourself one in thought with the creative principle that is at the center of it. And therefore, why not go into the center of all things at once and enter into the spirit of life? Do you ask where to find it? In yourself. And in proportion as you find it there, you will find it everywhere else. Look at life as the one thing that is, whether in you or around you. Try to realize the livingness of it, and then seek to enter into the spirit of it by affirming it to be the whole of what you are. That sentence right there. You want to affirm what you are, right? Affirm this continually in your thoughts, and be degrees. The affirmation will grow into a real living force within you. See, this is basically a different way of what Wallace Wattles just shared, the first principle. These are two different perspectives, but it's saying the same thing, right? Affirm this continually in your thoughts. What is thoughts? Thoughts is energy. It's the foundation for everything, right? So you're assuming this. You're affirming this. I affirm who I am. I affirm what I achieve. I affirm what's already done, right? Every energy is never created or destroyed. It's just in one form or another. So the version that you're creating is already there. You're just matching the frequency, right? And that's what this is. You're matching the frequency. Affirm this continually in your thoughts. Now, somewhere in another chapter, Wallace Wattles talks about being laborious, like being in the wish fulfilled, being laborious, meaning you have to be aware of your thoughts, right? So if you're allowing thoughts to kind of dictate your life, you're being the plaything for all outside sources, right? So it's an inside job, not the outside. It's inside out, not outside in, right? This is where awareness and mentorship and coaching comes in. So affirm this continually in your thoughts, and by degrees, the affirmation will grow into a real living force within you, so that it will become a second nature to you, and you will find it impossible and unnatural to think in any other way. So basically, you're creating a better habit, a habit of thought that serves you instead of your past conditioning that's been taken away from you. Doubt, worry, fear, right? And then it becomes natural. You naturally do it without even knowing. It becomes a part of your identity. And then as you're creating more goals in your life and better habits and moving towards things, you set a higher goal, right? And mastery is endless, right? There's no stopping point to this, but only based on your own limited thinking. So it says, impossible and natural thing. And the nearer you approach this point, the greater you will find your control over both body and circumstances, right? Until at last you shall so enter into the spirit of it, into the spirit of the divine creative power, which is the root of all things, divine energy. That's what you're doing when you use your imagination. You're tapping into spirit. So it says, divine creative power, which is the root of all things, that, in the words of Jesus, nothing shall be impossible to you, because you have so entered into the spirit of it. That you discover yourself to be one with it. Then all the old limitations will have passed away, and you will be living in an entirely new world of life, liberty, and love, of which you yourself are the radiating center. You will realize the truth that your thought is a limitless creative power, and that you yourself are behind your thought, controlling and directing it with knowledge for any purpose which love motivates and wisdom plans. Love motivates and wisdom plans. Thus, you will cease from your labors, your struggles and anxieties, and enter into that new order where perfect rest is one with ceaseless activity. Wow. So you get the idea there. Wow. Every time I read that, I get something out of it. So I wanted to share that with you as well. There's two different ways of explaining thought energy, the formless substance, and entering into the spirit of it, right? Very powerful. And what you're doing, you're tapping into the unseen. Notice my Instagram, believe in the unseen. You have to believe in something that you don't see yet. Most of us, I'll believe it when I see it. It's the other way around. Believe it. before you see it, right? So let me share the rest of the presentation here. So definitely wanted to hammer home some of the options there, right? So let's, so here's some self-reflection, you know, some self-reflection, like really look at yourself, right? And that's what personal development does. You know, you really have to look at your life, look where you are, look at yourself, look at your habits, look at where you want to go, look at what you're doing, you know, and ask yourself, am I where I want to be? What do I want in my life? What do I want to achieve? Who do I want to impact? Right? So Bob's quote here is the book on the shelf or is it inside you? You know, you see all these books here behind me. You know, I constantly have to keep studying. I have to keep reading the same book. You know, repetition is key because what you're doing, you're overriding your old conditioning. When you read the same book over and over, right? You get people that read all these books, but you ask them, hey, what's on chapter 3? They won't remember, right? Because we've been conditioned to, in society, to remember things. But is the book on the shelf or is it inside you, right? Is that book a part of your being? I love that quote by Bob Proctor, right? And ask yourself, what is holding you back from your C-type goal? What is holding you back from the goal that you really want, right? What is holding you back? What has been holding you back from even using your imagination? What has been holding you back from daily activity towards that goal? What's holding you back from writing your goals down? What's holding you back from seeking mentorship, right? What is preventing you from getting the help to achieve your goal? Or whatever this goal or whatever goal that you're aiming for, right? What is preventing you? These are some very deep self-reflection questions to ask yourself. You know, I'm always happy to help. I love helping people with this material. I'm here to help you. You know, you either know about it or you know it, right? Like a lot of people know about this material, right? A lot of it you can find online. You can find some inspiring, motivating videos of Bob or Sandy. You know, a lot of, you know, his inner circle, other consultants. You know, there's a lot of motivational content, right? You can know about it or know it. There's a difference between talking the talk and walking the walk. It's like food, you know. My wife's been doing some amazing recipes, and I can tell you about it. I can tell you about the fancy fish tacos we had. We had like a lo mein dish, you know, it's like Thai or something. It was delicious. I could tell you the ingredients that was used, the cooking methods, but you'll know about it, but you won't experience it because you're not able to taste it. But you can taste it through the words I share, right? So this material, you can know about it, but you don't know it, right? You don't know it. So it's very important to kind of really, really think about it, right? Really, 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 really think about this. So here's a story, you know, to share for many of you that are stuck in life, you know, that have been setting New Year's resolution year after year, or your income has remained the same, or you're looking for a job, or you're just looking for something you always desired, but you're afraid. You're afraid to do it. But you want to do it. You know it's right. You know where you want to go, but your conditioning and your rational mind is holding you back. Focus on your goal. Focus on your dream. Like I said yesterday, you know, we don't know when our time is up. We don't know that. Young people pass away, older people stay longer. You know, it's all over the place. I don't know that. That's why I'm here with you. You know, God willing, I'll be here longer, but I'm here now. This is where I'm meant to be right now to help you. But you have to choose for yourself, right? Especially if you've been stuck for many years, many months, but you may want to do some things you never done before. Why do you think that desire has been planted in your subconscious mind, in your mind, right? It's spirit seeking fuller expression with and through you, right? You've been given this gift, this vision of yourself. If you can see it, you can have it. What's holding you back? What's preventing you from getting the help to achieve this goal? What's stopping you? That gift that's been given to you is meant for spirit to experience self at a higher level. You want a higher level of life, a higher frequency. You want to smile more. You want to laugh more. You may want to experience things you never did or thought that you can afford. What is holding you back? Right? Get clarity of where you're going. So I'm going to share this story, that really spoke to me. I'm going to have to run out of the office really fast because I forgot to put it here on the desk. But as we're, talking here, think about that. Think about your goal. And Instagram will be back as well. So hang tight, and I'm going to share this story with you before we end this, okay? Okay, and we're back. So let me stop sharing there if I can find a way. There's always a way, right? All right, so let me share this here. Make sure we're still connected. Good. Let me share this. All right, for those that are stuck. And this was me. I can totally relate to this, and I'm sure a lot of people here can relate to this, all right? So there's a small fly burning out of the last of its short life's energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of the window pane. The whining wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder. But it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. This was me for many years. The fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. It will die there on the windowsill. Across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it could be free of this self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It would be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offer the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill him. That will kill. Try harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it's a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. Price Pritchard. Wow. So how many of you out there are just trying harder or have given up? And I'm sure you can relate to that story. So I wanted to share that with you in this final quote here by Bob Proctor. Faith and fear both demand you believe in something you cannot see. You choose. Every day we're choosing and making our decisions based on fear or faith. And we both can't see either. Right? Every day we have either faith or fear. And it demands you believe in something. I always tell the story about the two wolves, right? Basically, one wolf is fear and one wolf is faith. And which wolf wins the battle is the one that you feed. If you're feeding this wolf, it gets stronger, right? So it gets bigger, it gets stronger, faster, more powerful. You know how many people live their lives in fear? Fearing every day. As soon as they wake up, oh, I hope I'm not late. I hope I don't forget this. Oh, man, I don't want to do that today. That's a fear-based thought. It's the law of polarity. We always have the option of choosing how we put our energy. Tembo, hey, welcome. So what are we doing with this energy? Right? And all it is, energy just is. We choose what we do with it, right? Thoughts are energy. So you're having clear energy flowing to us, but we choose what we do with it. We are the focal point. We're just vessels, right? So are you choosing faith, knowing that mentorship is the right thing for you, right? Knowing that you are going to progressively move towards the goals that you've been wishing and hoping for. Knowing that this isn't just another video, that this was meant for you to receive. You can hear with your ears, but hearing with your heart is different. When you start feeling what I'm saying, this is not just a free webinar. This is the last webinar of the year. You know, and I extend my energy to help you. I tell you now, set a call up with me to see if mentorship is a good thing for you, if it's a good fit for you. You know, I know the value of this material. I've been seeking this material my whole life, over 40 years. I know I have. I know the value in it. I don't have to sell you on it, but it's not going to hurt me. It'll hurt you more because you attracted it, but not taking any type of action, right? Not taking the action will hurt you more. It's your future self. You'll hurt your future self by not applying this and taking a step out of your comfort zone. So you're hurting your future self and who you choose to be for 2025. You know, spirit willing that we get to see that year. Let that year be the best year of your life. You know, and I want to thank everybody here that's live. I see a few people already booking calls, so thank you. You know, I want to help you really bad, but, you know, you got to be willing to help yourself, to take that first step of being uncomfortable, you know? So thank you again for making this 2-day free webinar amazing. I got a lot of messages that, you know, I struck some chords, you know, heartstrings, right? And I really spoke to some people and gave some great information. And I'm so blessed to do this and so grateful to do this. You know, and if you don't know by now, Instagram, you can follow me on Believe in the Unseen, and also my newish YouTube channel, Believe in the Unseen as well. Just search Believe in the Unseen and you'll find my YouTube channel there. Please subscribe. It's really new. Show some support there. And again, my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified Bob Proctor coach. And message me, you know, contact me. I think my call link is here. Like I said, you know, that's the first step to see if mentorship's right for you. Some people, you know, oh, and also my email, jamel@believeintheunseen.com, you know, if you want to reach me by email. So let me stop sharing this screen. And, you know, thankfully, we didn't have any hiccups today with the technology. Yesterday it was kind of funny, but we kept going, right? So just to kind of bring it home here, back to the terror barrier. You know, are you going to stay in bondage? Bondage is thinking the same way over and over, expecting things to change, right? What is that? The definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. Why would we do that? A lot of people do that till the end of the days, right? To our rest of our life. So, and then there's the reasoning stage, right? Where you start thinking about that idea, what you really want. This is why you got to get clarity on yourself and make a committed decision. I am getting out of my comfort zone today. Making decisions separates the unsuccessful people and the successful people. Making decisions fast. Because what happens when you make a slow decision, your old self is controlling you. It's basically halting you from your forward momentum, from the higher self that you're seeking, from the things that you're seeking. So thinking about it, you already made a decision by having indecision. So the reasoning factor is when you have that idea, it comes in your mind. You're thinking about it, right? Remember, conscious mind. You have a Y idea, not X idea, not X based on last year and the year before that and the year before that and the year before that, right? So now you have this new idea, but you have old X conditioning here in your subconscious. So you're feeling the same way. And your body vibrates at the same vibration of your old self. Now, what happens when you face that fear, whatever level of fear it is, a lot of you are afraid to talk to me. I know who you are. I want to talk to you again. That's a fear, right? Bust through that fear. This is how we grow. I used to be afraid to talk on camera. I don't want to leave the camera right now. I know my wife has to come in the office and work, but I want to keep talking. I want to help you, right? I can talk about this forever. But the point is, you know, bust through that fear, right? Are you going to stay in your conditioned mind just thinking about it? I'm just keep thinking about it. I'm going to keep thinking about it. I'm going to just keep thinking, you know. But when you start getting emotionally involved with that goal and keep putting it here in your subconscious mind, your emotional mind, you start really feeling it. I feel it. I feel it. It's here now. I feel it. And it's for me. There's no excuses. I'm making a committed decision to go towards that goal every day. Regardless of what someone said, regardless of what I see, it's here right now. This is for me. I'm never giving up. And then you bust through that fear. Now, as you got emotionally involved with that goal, that thing that you always desired, your vibrational state has old conditioning and new vibration, and you bust through it. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. You've been afraid. Go right through that fear. I believe in you. I believe in you. So I have some time this evening, even though there was some scheduled calls this evening, but I'll set some time aside, you know, because I definitely want to help you with this material. So if you need the link or just reach out to me, message me directly, and I'll just make time, you know, because this is very, very important. to go into 2025 as a new version of you, a higher version of you, not just the old stinking thinking, negative thinking, limiting beliefs, worried about how and doubting yourself. There's greatness in you. There's greatness in you. There's greatness in all of us. Your spiritual DNA is perfect, and that spiritual DNA is within you. We're one of God's highest forms of creation. We're creators to create. Create the life that you want. Or stay where you are and keep wishing and hoping and thinking about it instead of taking one step towards it. This has been amazing. Much love, everybody. Praying for you. Love y'all. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the support for yesterday. This has been day 2, the last free webinar of the year. You know, I wish nothing but success for everyone. Blessings. Blessings.